Hello and welcome back to another chat about AI in Adventures in AI. Today I'm chatting to Tim. Tim's a content creator. He's written loads of books. He's got a podcast. He does video editing. He's got a YouTube channel. That's his gig. So, Tim, welcome to this conversation. I can't wait to dive into
Hi.
this because I know you're doing some really, really cool stuff based on what I'm seeing on your Facebook page. So, hello first before we dive in.
Hello. And yes, I have been doing a lot of stuff with AI image and video generation, and especially as regarding podcasts and creating animations and graphics based on an existing podcast clip. So,
Ah, now this could satisfy the question that I really want to start with, which is what cool shit have you been doing this week in AI, Tim? So do you want to show us a little bit more about what that is? I think I know what you're going to share with us.
yes, if you
So he's
give
just
me
getting his stuff. You've got to watch this, people, because this is really cool.
right, and yeah. Here we go. And share sound. Yes. So fingers crossed this works. And well, just talk about what you do with food, like presumably,
Okay, so
yeah,
I am a former non-cook who's now a food writer and food
yeah,
podcaster. So I host the Taste Buds with Deb podcast, and these are bite-sized conversations about food, cooking, and community.
right. I don't know if you saw that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's so cool.
the thing that like what I did there is I used a tool called ComfyUI, which is a local image and video generator, and also and what that allows you to do is similar to HeyGen, but you can run it on your own machine. You need a really powerful PC. Let
Okay.
me say that to do it. So, and at the moment it's PC only because it's in video only, and yeah, but that allows you to basically lip sync a video. You create an image and you can give multiple voices and so those are mine and the guest voices from a clip from
Yeah.
that podcast. And this new model called Infinity Talk can go on, like you can do like a 40-minute podcast like this. Admittedly, on my machine, I've timed it. It took about to do 5 minutes. It took like 6 hours.
Oh my
So,
God.
so but the technology's coming. So that original image I produced on using Google's new Nano banana
Nano,
model.
banana. I still haven't tried that yet. I'm dying to try it.
Yeah. So, well, actually, let me let me see if I can share.
So when you're as you get that ready, I'm just thinking. So the image you created using Google Nano Bananas, and
Yeah,
then you use this other tool to
yeah,
pair up podcast audio to get it animated to lip sync to the audio.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I
And
mean,
how long did that take you? I mean, I know the computer did it for 6 hours, but how long did you do? What were you doing?
well, once I started working out how to do it, it doesn't take very long. I've done quite a few of these. The other thing I've done, which is of no use whatsoever, is animating Donald Trump graphics with like him saying stupid things,
Okay,
uh, which is a whole different because in that case you can't take the audio, you have to generate the audio.
right.
And there's models where you can sample somebody's audio and it will generate you can generate a voice of anything in that
Yeah.
case. And I'll show that later on, I think. Right. Can you see Google AI Studio now?
Yes.
Right. So this is where you need to go. And what's the link for this? aistudio.google.com. I think you might need to log into Google. I mean, we're so like Google login is so like nebulous. But then you want to go to try Nano Banana, which is actually called Gemini 2.5 Flash Image, but everybody they leaked it beforehand. It's like literally out this week. And well, we don't, do we want to do a banana? Let's get the banana jump in. Ooh, up and down. And let's run that. And hopefully it's not going to fail dismally. Yeah, so there. the thing is that like this is probably the best like AI generation image model at the moment. The
Mm,
funny thing, it changes on almost a weekly
it
basis
does.
because there are so many open source ones out there as well. And the funny thing is the open source models like catch up and overtake the expensive ones or the like Google and the rest of the big ones. And then they release a new one and they're ahead again.
Yeah.
And it's quite amusing because last week the best image model was Gwen Image, which is a Chinese freeware openware. Where it's not actually they're investing loads of money in China so that they want to kind of undercut the expensive products in the UK in the US. But now this is the number one. So I could, in theory, take this image and then put it into a different program and then create a video based on this image.
Mm.
I could use a paid version, but I don't want to pay for something like HeyGen or one of
Mm.
these. Like I use a different. Right, so
And
let's
I'm wondering,
see.
with all your video editing stuff, with the
Yeah.
work that like actual work, useful work that you do, as opposed to like messing about with AI, have you found ways to you must have done to like really streamline or save time off your video editing? And because one of my sort of dream at the moment is to have an automation where I can basically just have videos being created or edited, like the whole thing. I can just give it content or a prompt and it just creates faceless content, if you like, that uses my ideas. But I just don't want to be going through the edit. I just don't want to go through all that. I don't need to be the one that does all that. Have you figured that piece out?
Um, Not especially, but I'm kind of getting there. I mean,
Are
that
you?
comes onto the AI automation side. And if you look at my LinkedIn profile, I changed it to AI automation. I didn't say expert, I said like enthusiast on
Yeah.
the thing. AI automation is actually kind of different from this AI stuff in that ideally you want to be automating as much as possible, and then AI is just filling in the little gaps.
Mm.
So the tool I use is NA10 for that.
Well, I've
But
still got to dive into NA10 because that looks like it's quite a meaty tool.
yeah,
And you can do a lot with it, but it does look. I get slightly overwhelmed when I look at NA10. Am I right to get overwhelmed by it, or is it reasonably once you get there, it's actually not as bad as it looks?
uh, it's kind of well. Shall I show you ComfyUI because that's worse than
Oh no,
NA10.
no, don't show me worse. I think what I want to try and do is like I want these conversations to inspire people to dip their toe in and to show some of the cool stuff that we're doing. And because I think for me, a lot of the AI stuff is really you're only limited by your own creativity. There's so much that you
Oh
can
yeah.
do right now that it's really about it's well, what are you doing? What are some of those interesting things that you're doing so that we can get people out the starting blocks because so many people aren't even using ChatGPT in any meaningful way, let alone some of these more powerful tools. So I think it's interesting to see what other people are doing that's really that's quite creative in terms of whether it's idea generation or I don't know. That's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. Like, we were having a sort of a start of a conversation in the pre-chat about like you were saying all the tech bros and the technical side. The funny thing is, I used to be a software developer for years, and then I sort of semi-retired, wrote fantasy and time travel books for a bit, then got into social media and mucked about with that, and then like now I'm kind of so for me, there's this big gap in the middle of people who are sort of reasonably technically competent, but aren't like actual developers anymore.
Mm,
And but a lot of the AI stuff I see is very on the simple basic. It's like, how do you do a prompt for ChatGPT or something like that? And I'm like, oh, who cares really? Like, or is there an M dash in the thing? And and I'm like, I could care less whether I see somebody have an M dash in their written text about.
yeah,
There's the stuff that is like possible with AI and also AI automation because the problem I'm like a lot of people. I've tried in the past to automate a lot of my business with things like Zapier and the like.
yeah.
But
Can
the
you just stop
problem,
sharing your screen so I can see you? Sorry.
okay, no, that's fair enough. Uh, screen sharing. How do I stop?
I don't know if I can do it from my end.
No, don't worry. I'll work it out. It's this little red button here. No, that's recording.
It should say stop share.
Yeah, big red button. Press the big red button when in
So you were
doubt.
talking about Zapier and all the bits that you connect it up with.
Yeah, well, the problem is that you always get so like I tried this example of creating like podcast graphics from so I'd get somebody to upload a photograph because most of my book chat live show, which I'm actually in the process of restarting after getting lost in this AI malaise for a couple of months, is basically a simple format of graphic for the show for like it's a picture of the person with the background removed, the text and their name and the rest of it. And while that doesn't sound much effort to create a podcast graphic like that, I was trying to just have it so that from the booking system, I use TidyCal for booking stuff, to take the email and then create a graphics based on the photograph of the person and the thing. And that sounds really simple to do. But the problem is that humans get in the way of these things. So there's a couple of things like where the photograph they upload, where is the person in the picture? Some people might be like over here somewhere. Somebody else might be over here. Somebody might be up here. And being able to feed that into an AI process to just crop to the face is tremendously useful. And that is where AI is really useful. I think too many people, though, are just feeding in, giving everything to the AI and expecting. The trouble is, AI will give you different results a lot of the time. And it's a bit like a really dumb human AI.
Yeah.
So if you can do something with just little flows and create stuff, and actually just do it using code, then use AI for the bits that code can't do because it's difficult stuff.
Right.
And that works really well. So yeah, like working out, and also I was about to show off in a Facebook group that I created this thing, give people like a little form entry where they could put a graphic of the picture of them and an email address, and it would email them a podcast graphic. I thought, well, that's a great idea. And then I actually realized the consequences that if I published that, I would have let myself open to basically sending pornography to anybody on the internet with my name, my email address, because somebody could have uploaded a porn image onto that little flow that I created, somebody famous's email address. And that's the kind of thing where AI to validate the inputs really, really works. And not enough people are thinking about this when they're thinking about like all this vibe coding and the rest of it. And yeah, it's
Do you mean
AI
things
is
like the
used,
guardrails? Do you mean like the
yeah.
protection of your if you are going to be sharing automations or sharing flows, is that what you mean? Like so they don't get used for nefarious purposes?
Yeah. I mean, basically, the trouble is there's a lot of people now who are releasing stuff and people aren't unscrupulously like sending. So if you've got a photo submission, you do need to do some checking for like nudity and other things, especially if you've got some sort of like enter email address of anybody on the internet. And I was about to like post it. Oh, look at this cool NAN flow I've produced. And then I was like, no, this is a terrible idea. I did try and put some guardrails in, but at the end I didn't publish it at all because it's really only for my internal use for the show. But I am now looking to the point where I can do all of the admin for my podcast, which is quite complicated because I have to get book choices from the guest. And there was a lot of prep work before. I think I can get that at least half the work, half the time now by using N8N to fill in the gaps.
So okay, so that's a big win though, isn't it? Because podcasting takes a lot of time, and I know since I've started using CastMagic, which if people have listened to me talk already, you'll know that was one of my favorite tools. CastMagic has saved me a ton of time with my podcasting stuff, and yeah, so the YouTube description is AI generated. I don't think humans read that stuff anyway. That's just for their algorithm. There's certain like I have a when it comes to email newsletters or copy in places where humans are definitely going to be reading that and it counts. then I'm more likely to go in and tweak and make sure that it's, I'll use AI as a starting point. Whereas a YouTube description, I'm just, yeah, I don't need to be writing YouTube descriptions and coming up with all the tags, right? So CastMagic has taken up so much of the slack for me in terms of podcasting stuff. And then also with all the little clip generation. And I think that's a huge one as well. When you want to create audiograms or little like highlights that you want to put on reels, you're just extracting all of that. Before you'd have to be going up when you're editing it and highlighting, picking all that out. Whereas now AI is really good at just picking that stuff out. And Opus Clip I'm getting into at the moment, which will just pull out all the viral bits and pull out your all the text and the captions and then you've got loads to choose from, and you can tweak it, sure. And again, the tweaking's still needed, I think. I don't think you can fully hand over the reins. Are you fully handing over the reins to AI, or do you still step in?
No, well, I mean, that's another good thing of like an automation tool in that you can put in what they call human in the middle kind of nodes.
Right,
So,
okay.
for example, like with the podcast thing, I haven't used this in Anger for the creating the graphics, but I think I will add in a stage where it will email me and wait for a response before it kind of posts anything.
Good idea.
So yeah, I mean, like a human pair of eyes, because I know enough from using like all of the models and things, in that sometimes they will just every now and then they'll just do some like 9 out of 10 times they'll run like the way you expect them to, and at every 10th time they'll just do something random.
Yeah. No, it is certainly. I know I've been
And
doing the image creation stuff, and suddenly it's like there's two of me in the shot, or that there's a really funny one where I'm standing. It's meant to be in a business setting, and they've got me coming out the center of a board table, so it's just the top half of my body and my,
yeah,
I'm just on a table. Yeah, you
uh,
just think that you've got to check this stuff, and also when I'm using ChatGPT, I'm constantly picking it up and telling it that it's not listening and it's not paying attention. It does
yeah.
feel like a smart but rowdy child. That's how I feel
Um,
about it.
I'm going to say talking about something technical here, but I just find it really interesting in that the way that the image models work is very different from like ChatGPT and the rest of it. And I found it like I don't fully understand this, so I don't expect anybody to fully understand it. I just thought it's man, what they do is they're trained on like images and they'll give a description on these images. And you'd think like, okay, that's fair enough, that makes sense. But what they do is they gradually add white noise, so just random dots taken away from the image. And they do that in steps when they're training it. And it goes back to just a big screen of like white noise. And you think, why does it do like that? But what happens is that when you create an image, it starts with a screen of white noise, and because it's been trained the other way round, it can go the other way round using the words that you created. That's why, like, if you type woman or something, you don't always get exactly the same image on, which is if it was trained like ChatGPT, it would be like more kind of autocomplete. But
Right.
they've got all of this white noise, which just adds this massive random thing. So they train it one way and then it works the other way round. It's very strange.
That does sound strange and
It
quite
is
confusing.
strange, but that's one of the reasons why image generation has problems with it, multiple of things because it's just associating the word finger or woman or whatever, and it doesn't know. It's just like, oh yeah, rand. So you create a random image of white noise, and it in its past it's trained with a million images of thing with various different patterns of white noise. So it just picks one out, and that's what happens. So it's kind
Oh,
of
okay.
interesting.
So
So
out of the image stuff, like what are your favorite image tools then that I know they're changing like weekly, but right now, what are
right
your faves?
now, well, the thing is, like, there's a very good. You have to be careful as potentially as a business owner, in that some of the models. So, like, there's all these Flux models by Black Forest Labs, and there's a very good one called Flux Dev Korea, I think it's called, and that's very good for human images and human faces and things. But the problem with like Flux is that their license is not for commercial use. So you can create images on your own PC or using their thing, but you're not supposed to use them commercially. So you can't use them in adverts or any kind of other stuff. It's kind of unlikely you to get sued for it, but their licensing is not commercial. Where other ones like Alibaba's Quen image is a Apache license, which means you can use it for anything, basically. So Quen image and Quen image edit. I don't know what the licensing on the Google Nano is, Nano Banana. I think it's open too. And certainly if you pay for it, you get if you pay Google's like AI costs, you get. But I mean, you can use it for free. But
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, like, because I've seen Flux, it's almost like it's one of, and I'm still getting my head around all this, but then there's the models that these kind of front end apps, if you like, draw from, just like there's the chat, if I use Pickaxe to do some of my monetizable offers in terms of GPTs. So it'll pull from Claude, or it can pull from ChatGPT, or it can pull from
yeah.
any of the models. But the thing I'm using is Pickaxe. And I'm just with Flux, I've seen Flux with an image tool I'm using called FreePick. So the licensing, does that mean the licensing that you're talking about? Do I need to check into FreePick, or is that because they're pulling in Flux that's the license? Do
Well,
you know?
presumably, I think, I mean, you can pay a couple of grand for a license, and they may have a license with Flux for that
Yeah.
they can then could sell on, in which case you're doing well by using that. Um, the what else was going to say? What was it like the video editing? So video creation, I use WAN 2.1 or 2.2. 2.2 is quite good actually. That's a free. I think it's Alibaba again. It might be one of the other ones. Chinese things. You can run them on. You can run these. There are like websites on the internet you can use that actually do that. Run them. You don't have to run them on your own machine like I do. But the advantage of running on your own machine is generally it's free. So
Yeah.
I can. So it might take me 6 hours to produce a little image, but there were lots of actually online alternative ones. Like I'm trying to think, like the Mid Journeys and all those kind of ones. So
Yeah.
those change every week.
Well, they
Who?
do, don't they?
Who
Yeah. And then
um,
what about those? Have you dabbled in, creating your own Yeti video, or, um, world disaster, like big tsunami taking over there's those videos that get
no, I
huge
haven't, but
views.
I could like the good thing about using like local, or you can actually use ComfyUI, which is quite complicated little node-based thing for generating images. But you can do things like give it a start and an end image.
Mm.
So dare I share my screen again and lose everybody into right. Let me go and select the right tab and then try and work out where Zoom is. And so this horribly complicated thing here, and you can
Wow.
like a start and an end image, uh, and the panda and hippo walk out and they're walking, which
Oh
it
my
didn't
God.
do. What it actually produced was this, which is actually quite amusing.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's kind of almost like what was that program spoof program when they used to go like zoom across the other desk?
Yeah. 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 And so this doesn't look like it's to do with books or anything like that.
No, well, this is like I have been like so I was these are both generated in Nano Banana again.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do with something like is that there's this thing called control nets where you can take an image and like it will create a little stick man thing and then put that in as an extra item with so the prompt is a rabbit running to catch a train, but it's going to use
Yeah.
this thing. So that's what it produced as the output.
Right. Okay.
And these are things that are hard to do with. I mean, you can actually upload this image into something like Nano Banana and probably say, like, take the pose of that thing, but it's not as easy as because you've got all of these other tools available in something like Comfy UI.
Yeah.
So yeah, and whatever.
Have you used Grok? Imagine.
No, I haven't. I
Well, so you
mean,
can just click on an image, like you open any image on any feed or on your phone, you just hold it down and it'll be animated.
ooh,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
And this is the flow that I use to
Let's
create the
start with the question,
podcast
because
thing.
this is a
So, and you can tell it. I mean, the thing is, a lot of these, I took the original flow from somebody else who I saw a YouTube video, and they like, because you can upload the flow. So this is the original photograph, and this is my audio. So I've actually set it up so you could do the entire podcast, and here's the name of the guest. But I'm only cropped it to 5 minutes in this case, and yeah, you get like
what
this.
on earth is live streaming? So,
I don't know if you can hear
as
this.
you're
I can hear that.
live streaming strategist.
Yes.
What is live streaming to the lay person? I mean, obviously we know what it is, and we're kind of doing it at the moment. But what is live streaming, and how did you end up as a live streaming strategist?
So I guess
I mean, it is good fun, isn't it?
Of course,
I know. So
I can see why you're getting distracted.
I know. Let me talking about getting distracted. Let's tally up. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. I've been doing all of these hundreds of things, like trying to work out how this is all gonna like. Podcasting is kind of the first thing where it's obvious, like where you can start using this stuff. I think a lot of it with like the automation side of things is useful too, in as much as like something I was kind of working on until I got distracted with all this podcast video stuff was I was trying to get it to go to YouTube and all of the old videos of my book chat live show, because at the moment there's no website equivalent. So my old shows, I used to have like a web page for every show, but for book chat live, I never created that. So I am in the process of creating I've kind of got a spreadsheet of data for all the show guests and all the names. But what I wanted to do is go through and get the videos, download them, transcribe them, which I've done. And then, because the show format is I talk to guests about between 6 and 12 books, I wanted to like cut them up and then use those descriptions on the web page. Is that hard to do in AI? It's like harder than you think. They just like, I even got to the stage of asking Copilot, just because it happened to run it, like, how do I get it to take this transcript and just break it up based on the books? I've even given it a list of books to do. And it will kind of work once or twice, and then it will just go wrong or start randomly putting other rubbish in. So yeah, like AI is useful for filling those gaps because there's not really an easy way to do it otherwise. So yeah, that is the way I'm going to do it going forward. I think is finally. I mean, I probably don't need to, because I do record. Actually, I have got a spreadsheet for some of the episodes of where these book things are exactly in the timeline. So I'll probably just end up going to that. But I wanted AI to do it. And it's kind of hard to do a lot of these things at times.
No, and I have found that sometimes I'm just so desperate to get the AI to do it that I spend more time than if I just bloody did it.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of the things that I love to do is figure out a process where I can streamline something. So if I need to do it again, then I'm more than happy to spend time up front figuring out the process and the automation piece or the streamlining, whatever that is, so that when I come to do the thing again, it's quick. But yeah, sometimes I just get bogged down in that obsession of streamlining at the beginning rather than just bloody doing the task. And if I have to do it again, well, I'll just do it again. I hate repeating myself in tasks. I really like to be more efficient in terms of the way I do stuff. And AI does kind of, you can get massively distracted. So you said before we got on that you spent the last 6 months getting distracted with AI. Is that
probably is fair, actually. I mean, it all started in the London Book Fair, and I'd kind of accidentally booked a day earlier than I should have done at a hotel. So I was like in the sun, I was like, okay, well, I'll look into all this AI stuff. And I started getting into N8N, which isn't really AI. I mean, why N8N is a really good platform is there are a couple of reasons. If you're mildly technical, because it is a technical platform, I'm not going to lie, but they all are, all of Zapier and all the rest of them, they're all kind of, because if you dumb it down automation wise, then you end up basically with a tool that can't do anything. But why N8N I've really got a lot of time for is that it's open source. So while you can pay to run it on their servers, and there's a lot of reasons why you might want to do that from a support and other point of view, and there's lots of templates and stuff. That's the easier way to do it if you're not technical. If you are technical, you can run the run N8N on your own machine, or you can run it on a machine in the internet somewhere, which is what I've done ultimately. And it's just so powerful in what it can do because you've got connection nodes so I can connect to work. So like the flow I'm working on, basically, I've got a SQL database where I've uploaded all the spreadsheet thing from the show. So it's got things like who the guests were, what the books were, and the rest of it. So I'm in the process of generating a whole load of WordPress, so 80 odd WordPress pages with links to each of the shows. So it's got like the YouTube video at the top, a list of all the books that were discussed. Hopefully I can get the actual description of what was discussed from the transcript, is the last bit. And yeah, I can just upload 80 WordPress draft posts to my WordPress site and create that website stuff that I never had for the original show, if that makes sense. With all the affiliate links to all the books and things, which at the moment is quite hard to actually let people do that. I've got like the way the show works is I upload product reviews onto the Amazon pages from those parts of the show, and I get affiliate income from that. But if you want to actually like click through to the links and give me money, it's quite hard to do that at the moment because it's an Amazon Live show, and Amazon's interface on their page with all their old shows is awful. It's really hard to find anything. So that kind of, I think those kind of bulk actions are actually where automation is really good. So you're doing some sort of bulk thing where you're doing one task, but you're doing like 80 or 90 times.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably pay somebody off the internet to do this manually, but it's like way more fun to do an 8N automation to run.
And it's N8N, like, so I'm about to hit that with what I'm doing. And so I've got some various GPTs, and I'm going to want to do some API connection stuff, which right now feels a little bit outside of my expertise. But to get something automated so that one GPT then talks to it, and they kind of just do this and then spit something out the end. So is N8N the place to go? Or like, because I'm also looking at things like maybe Airtable or Make. And so I still need to look into that. But are you saying that N8N is probably the techie one of those three? Are they comparable? What?
Well, N8N is probably the cheapest one to use.
Oh, right.
From a hosting point of view, because you can set up your own N8N server. And I'm like, I think I'm paying, I mean, you can pay like as little as $5 a month to have just host an N8N server.
Right.
I think I'm paying about $13 a month, but it's one that can do a lot of stuff. The technology, you might have heard of like MCP.
No.
I think it's MCP, Model Context Protocol. So that's quite new. That's come out. I think it was Anthropic who came up with it. And that is an interface that lets an AI talk to a service. It's kind of like an API call, but it's like an open-end thing. So I have had trouble with trying to get this to work, but in a year, let's say in 6 months, this will all work properly. So in effect, what you can do is you can write something in N8N or any other language and expose an MPP server, and then GPT, like any of the things, they all support like these tools now, can connect to it. You can configure it and connect to it and use it as a resource. The AI can use it as a resource. So let's say it's like your shopping list server or something. It's where you store your shopping lists. You can then ask, you can load the MCP, tell your AI about the MCP server, and it will know that, oh, it's a question about the shopping list. I will talk to that server and get this information. And there's a whole load of stuff where you put like, give me the whole shopping list, or add to the shopping list, remove the shopping list. You wouldn't use it for that, but you can kind of get the idea. So you can add custom sort of API functionality to existing models. It's actually pretty amazing technology, and like that's kind of the way that things are going. But with my own experience with automation, with N8N and all the other things, the APIs are where the stuff doesn't work.
Oh, really? Oh, that's been disappointing.
So at the moment, I'm uploading old video clips onto my Book Chat Live Instagram account. I'm also uploading them onto onto LinkedIn, and I had to custom write the API calls to do that. The actual nodes, the nodes in N8N for LinkedIn only do like text posts. And what I found is this is true for all of these. Like you try and scroll through the internet to find like all of these, post a LinkedIn video. They either use a third party service or they are secretly doing something else where they're not actually uploading the video. So
Right.
that's something to be aware of. A lot of these APIs will only do some of the things. It's like I'm going to have to look with the WordPress API, and it doesn't seem to let me upload a graphic for the page. You know, like the show art. That's not part of what they expose as the API, even though it does exist in the API. You then have to use a much more basic node, and it gets complicated quickly. So it's the communication with other systems, which is where automation is hard at the
Right.
moment. It's
Okay.
not really so much doing the simples. And this is the trouble. Like somebody might have a very simple flow and they're like, oh yeah, this is brilliant. And they'll try and sell it. And it's like, yeah, but that's not doing the hard stuff. So
So let's talk about books. As you've written a lot, have you explored AI powered book writing or AI in book stuff? Yes.
no, but I
Okay.
thought about it.
Okay.
Part of my thing is because I don't really use the online like AI models, but I have been experimenting with running them locally. There's a couple of programs. There's Olama, and then there's LM Studio. And LM Studio has recently been changed to have a commercial license on the free plan, which is great. And you can run down, cut down versions of, I mean, actually, OpenAI have just released a cut down version which can run on a local machine of, it's called OSS version of ChatGPT 5. I mean, it's dumb, but the good thing is that they've got a big context window. So I could, in theory, upload an entire book, which I don't want to upload entire book to ChatGPT, even on a paid plan, because despite what they might say, I don't trust them with like that
No,
kind
I
of
don't trust them
information.
as far as I could throw them.
But if you run it on your own machine, like on LM Studio or something, and upload it into, because it's not going to go on the internet because it's running locally. You could, in theory, like I think actually the most powerful use is editorial. So upload your book and ask it, take the role of an editor and then tell me about corrections to the story. But you probably would need to work on the prompt a lot. But I think actually, bizarrely, editorial is probably the place where it's the most useful rather than generate. I mean, yeah, okay, you can get a book to generate, you can get it to generate you extra book material, but I mean, it's like, well, I suppose if your English is very poor, then yeah, maybe do that.
Yeah.
But editorial like is really powerful because in effect it could do exactly the same sort of things that what human editors do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of editing is not proofreading where people think like commas and things like it's things like you write a fantasy novel and one of the characters dies in chapter 1 and you accidentally forget about that in chapter 15 you bring him back again.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing that an editor will pick up on.
Yeah.
And also things like tone and like this is jarring and the rest of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like it's going to be amazing for book editing, but I've still got I still do work for a lot of sort of self-publishing and other people, and there's a lot of hostility to AI in the writing world, like the self-publishing and especially the more kind of highfalutin thing. Like there's a big law case in the US against like I think it's Anthropic or somebody for like scanning in a load of books without permission. So if you've registered your copyright with the US Copyright Office, which I never did for your books, you can join the lawsuit that is against Anthropic about like I think that might all be settled out of court for like, because they basically went on the internet and scrounged a load of books and took them in. So
God.
yeah, but to me, it's like, yeah, it's like I suppose I see so much the benefits of AI that I kind of probably do downplay a lot of the stuff that people complain about. But
Mm.
I I remember when self-publishing came through in 2011, there was a whole huge amount of scammy people or people who just generated stuff. And yeah, okay, it's happening in the game with AI, but what happens is people stop buying that stuff. People work out pretty quickly that, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is just slop. Now, if somebody has a particularly hard passage of it, like a 5,000 page book that they use AI to rewrite, does that make it any worse? No, I don't think so. Or
Mm.
if you use an AI as an editor and it improves the quality of your text, is that a bad thing? No, of course not.
No,
So
I know, like, yeah, like the whole idea of generating a book totally with AI. I'm totally that, like, and you can spot that because it just lacks soul, if that's the best word for it. That kind of there's a
yeah.
bit missing that you can't connect to. Whereas, I mean, the way I use it is I dictate all my, I dictate, like even back in the days where you had a dictating machine, like I just speak all my content and then I have a transcript and then I get the AI to tidy up the transcript. And you know that used to be somebody's job back in the day. My mum used to do that for authors and screenwriters. So now I've just got an AI that's doing it for me. And so for me, I don't have any problems with that because that's shortcutting the time that I need to
Oh
spend. It's
yeah.
still my content. It's still my book. It's helped me to plan the book at the beginning. It's helped me to. And I remember my first book, my first two books, I spent ages just shuffling chapters around, figuring out the flow. Like, should I talk about this first and that? Because mine are nonfiction. So how do I lay these ideas through and make sure it makes sense and build? And that was where a lot of my time was spent. And then if I moved a chapter, I'd have to rewrite the bloody thing now and
Mm,
take into account that now it's got a different place. So I had to rejig it. And AI has really helped me to kind of cut through that in a massive way. Well, for a start, get it right up front, get a flow nailed early on, so I don't have to keep changing it. But also then doing that tidying up, if I've got to move things around, it can do that really quickly for me. You're still using the same transcript. So that's how I'm using it. And I don't personally have any issue with that. Whereas the idea of going, write me a book on X and then just sitting back and using that and publishing that I've got a real problem with that. That for me, that there's a big difference there. What do you think?
yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, there's nothing to. In fact, I remember like I used to read. I was working in corporate IT. I used to read books on my phone on the tube every day, and bought a lot of these 99 cents. Like really, some of them were excellent actually. That's the irony of it. But some of them were terrible, and there were ones where people had cut and paste the same thing 8 times and changing a few words here and there because they were just like, this is how you do this. And it's virtually the same as the last thing we talked about, which was this. So this cut and paste lazyism has been around for years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it will sort itself out. That's the
And there's always
thing.
going to be that. There are always going to be people that are going to try and do that, aren't there? So I think no matter where the
Yeah.
technology is, whatever the technology is going on, I'm sure people doing it with print back in the day, and maybe even stone tablets back in the day. Who knows?
Yeah.
But there's always going to be that going on, isn't there? So I think once we've kind of let that initial excitement and all those people get bored, as people are not engaging with that, because you see a lot of that slop on YouTube where people are doing AI generated and it's got images coming in and it's got a really bad AI voice, and you're like, oh, one like 10 seconds into a video like that, you know what's going on and you just switch it off. So I think it will sort itself out, is my sense. But the
Sure.
AI is getting so good now, though. That's the problem, that you can't always tell.
No, well, you can tell because of the laziness. So,
Well, the laziness shows, but not always the AI. If you do it really well,
well, yeah,
right?
but the reason why you can always tell is that the people creating those sort of videos never watch them back.
Mm,
So it will be going along. The voice is like one. I mean, the funny thing is, like the ComfyUI thing, I watch a lot of UI videos about that online. I would say 70 or 80% of them are AI generated. They've got a script, but the thing is, they've got a script. They've clearly actually produced good videos, but they never watch them back because it will say it's just the pronunciation of things like they won't say ComfyUI, they will say something like ComfyU or something like that. It's just weird mispronunciations of words is the most obvious tell for AI videos, especially if there's no face there to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these videos they don't even pretend that they're not AI generated,
No.
so it's like, but yeah, it's like the miss or some other ones like years. They'll pronounce years in front. They'll say 1984 in 1984, not 1984 or something like that. Like
Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it?
they're not wrong. It's just that's not how it's conventionally pronounced.
Yeah.
And yeah, that like or 2004 years especially they get wrong. So yeah, it is kind of obvious after a while, and you can be watching it, and then it's like they pronounce it in a very weird way, and it's like, yeah, is this AI? I don't know.
Well, I want to wrap up now because we've been chatting for quite a while, Tim. Anything else you want to share before we go in terms of cool stuff that's going on with AI in your world?
Cool stuff that's going on in AI. Well, today I have created my website name has nothing to do with my name. Is my old publishing book publishing site of Stone and Press. So stone as in a stone, ham as in meat from a pig, and then press as in pressing something. .com. If you go that and put /AI, I've now got an AI page.
Oh, brilliant.
And that connects to there's a Substack I've created, which I will actually now in the process start posting stuff. There's just a replay of a session I gave on NAN on there at the moment, which really has nothing to do with AI, but I will create some stuff about ComfyUI and probably upload a few things about YouTube video, about how to create podcast graphics, basically.
Oh, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
In fact, speaking of websites, I created some websites this week, and my host, which is A2 Hosting now, hosting.com, there was once I put WordPress on there, it said, oh, tell us a little bit about your site and we'll create your site. And I was like, okay. So I gave it like 5 lines of copy of what the site was about, and it just created the whole site in about 20 seconds. And I was like, and it wasn't bad. So when I had to do the site number 2, which is like a sister site, I gave it a lot more info. And the website that came out the box, it was a 10-page website that I'm like, well, yeah, I might want to change the colors and maybe a bit of the wording, but pretty much it was there. I was like, oh my God, how long would I have spent doing that website? Now it's a good interim version until we get a proper website done. But even to get my interim version done, that would have taken me a good couple of days. So, I mean, I'm very excited about that.
One tip I would give, which is taking on a tip I was given on actually, I asked somebody about AI in one of my interviews before I already got into AI, a guy called Jeff C. And he said, always get a monthly subscription to all these AI tools. I would say the same for a lot of other tools. So something like Opus Clips, which is fantastic for what it is at the moment, you can do something very similar to that using an all-encompassing API AI automation tool. So I would never don't lock yourself into year-long subscriptions to anything that's like an AI video tool, email providers. Email providers actually have something in that there's a lot of issues with like deliverability and the rest of it. But even so, any fancy like flows and funnels and the rest of it tool, website tools like Thinkific and the like, or teaching tools, all of those are going to be like in the next year or so are probably going to be out the window, and people have just used more general tools, agents for creating them.
Oh, do you think?
So, but the problem is, as we said, like every week there's a new bloody tool that's coming up. So it's not going to, don't immediately abandon all your tools, but be mindful that, yeah, they look impressive, but there's almost certainly a better tool out there, someone else that's able to do more or might come out in the next 3 to 6 months, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like there's a few, I won't mention that there's this big kind of all-encompassing tool I've seen a lot of people pushing affiliate-wise, and I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, you could do all of that using NAN.
I know, but who's going to set up all that, right? Who's going to spend the time setting all that stuff up?
Well, yes, but the thing is, it's not that you are going to do that, but somebody else will provide a solution built on top of it. So there's that gap. There's somebody else probably going to come in 6 months' time and half cut them out, and then you'll be paying like £800 a month or whatever for like everybody else is spending £10 a month on some other system. So make sure you're flexible with your systems because and keep an eye out generally because a lot of these things they're not really technically that impressive at all in many ways. So anyway,
well, thank you for all that, Tim. So we can find you at stoneandpress.com. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. /AI.
/AI.
I'll put a link on the main page.
Yeah, give me the link and I'll pop that in the description below. All right. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Lovely. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.